Hi, Stars fans. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Melbourne Stars podcast. I'm Heath McDonald, aka Mighty Melbourne Stars, and I am joined by.
Hey guys, Jacob here from Melbourne Stars News. Back at it again, this time previewing the Brisbane Heat game number 5 for us. Should be an exciting one. A lot of people, underestimating the Heat, but I think this is going to be one of the biggest games of the season so far. I'll hand back to you, Heath, to kick us off.
Yeah, definitely. So the Brisbane Heat have come off 2-2 start to the season. They lost to the Thunder and the Strikers, but they've beaten the Scorchers. And who else did they beat again?
Oh, you're testing my knowledge here, but I mean, look, they've gotten off to a reasonable start. I mean,
Mm.
they're in the top four as the time we're recording. They've had the huge win against the Perth Scorchers, which is obviously the highlight of their season. And so being at the Gabba, I think it just shows what they're capable of. And yeah, they've been a little bit inconsistent. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on their record, but I mean, it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah, definitely. So, who are the players that you got to watch out for, and what have you made of the Heat so far this season? Because they've actually been hit and miss. Like their win against the Scorchers was great, but then they lost to the winless Thunder, which wasn't
Yeah.
good for them.
Look, I mean, as I just mentioned, I think it's just inconsistency for the Brisbane Heat. They have players who are capable of performing, but they just don't have the depth. And you look at the injury list that was just updated last night. Shaheen Shah Freedy, their number one pick, ruled out of the remainder of BBL 15. Their captain, Nathan McSweeney, who's a promising young player, as we all know, is still, under review. We're not sure if he's going to be available for the game against the Melbourne Stars, so we'll wait and see. I don't think he's playing tonight in the New Year's Eve game. And then you look at Tom Alsop as well, the Englishman, who is a key batter for them. So there are a few players down, and replacement players is a thing. We've dealt with that a lot in the past. The Stars, when Ben Duckett wasn't available, Joe Clark came in, and that's just one example of last season of how many replacement players we had. So we have to look at that. Who are they going to sign as a replacement player? Does that replacement player arrive in time for January 2nd, which is when we play them? Because if they are without internationals, they're going to be at a big disadvantage. So those are obviously players to look out for, the internationals, depending on who they are. But I mean, the one that's hard to look past is Matt Renshaw. He's been in phenomenal form to start BBL 15. He was the key, along with Jack Wildermuth, to their record-breaking win over the Scorchers. And Renshaw's he's the only one in the top order that's really consistent. He's clearly in good form, and I think he's kind of someone that we have to look out for and try and target early. And apart from that, we know Max Bryant can be destructive. Xavier Bartlett, Kuhneman, those guys can do some damage, but Matt Renshaw is the main one for me. What about you?
And yeah, for me, I reckon it's Matty Renshaw and pretty much the few Brisbane Heat guys who are. I reckon we need to watch out for them and just keep doing what we're doing. We're not doing anything wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if the Brisbane Heat send us into bat to test our batting skills, since we've won majority of our games chasing and bowling first.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it depends if Stoinis wins the toss or not. We know he's undefeated so far in the bat flip, which is fantastic. But no doubt, if Colin Munro, I believe, is their captain right now, if he wins that bat flip, no, I think it's almost guaranteed he's going to send us into bat. And that's something we spoke on last episode. The captains, they're well aware of everyone around the league and what's happening. They know that we haven't set a total yet. We've always chased this season. So look, all the teams know that, and no doubt if we are to lose the bat flip, they're going to send us into bat because we haven't won doing that yet. Now, obviously, we haven't had a chance to do that yet because we've been so lucky with the bat flip. But look, I'd be interested to see how we go, and I know a lot of fans have been mentioning that because we've been, chasing totals quite easily. We haven't batted a full 20 overs yet, and our batting depth hasn't been tested. We've been so flexible, being able to move players around the order and kind of put in players whenever we feel like it, just because we've been so dominant. But if we have to bat a full 20 overs and set a target at the Gabba, which we know is a ground and a wicket that is very good for chasing, hence the run chase, the record breaking run chase the other week. So look, if we get sent into bat, it's gonna be very tough. Would you be open to us batting first?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind batting first. It's just, I reckon we, if we win the toss, I wouldn't be surprised we bowl first. But if we bat, I would like to see us set a total instead of chasing, because we know we can chase. But what happens when it comes to, say, if we're in the grand final and we lose the toss and we bat and we crumble because we don't know how to set a total and defend one. That's what I mean by, if we can learn how to bat first and defend, then that'll add another string to our bow, which will make us even more deadly in the future games.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be open to even winning the toss and batting, just considering our position. We're 4-0. We are on the top of the ladder comfortably. Look, I don't see us going 10-0, but I think we're doing pretty well um, as we speak. So if we were in a different situation, if we were 1-3 and struggling and desperate for wins, then I'd play it safe and I'd bowl first if we had the chance. But because of our recent success, I'm open to even batting first if we get the choice. But yeah, what else did you want to touch on?
So obviously we need 8 wins to make it to finals and to lock in a final spot, and we can go 5-0, and that'd be great because we started the year the last year off opposite to what we have. We were 0-5, and now we're about to go 5-0. So that's just going to be a great achievement, and we just need to keep doing what we're doing and just keep banking the wins because it's a short tournament and we don't want to fall behind. But lucky we are doing what we're doing because we want to lock in a top 2 spot and host a home final, which would be nice at the MCG.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we were just looking at, finals brackets today and how that stuff plays out. And as the season gets closer to the end, which we're not at yet, thankfully, we'll touch on the finals positions and how that works. But yeah, I think to lock in a final spot, I mean, we saw it only took 5 wins last year. We were 5-5 and finished fourth, but obviously that's not guaranteed at all because if other teams had have won and lost and results from other games had have gone differently, we could have still had those 5 wins and missed finals. So we're very lucky, obviously, and grateful for those results. It just happened to go our way last year. We got a little bit lucky with that momentum. But look, eight wins will 100% secure us a final spot. That's guaranteed. I think even 7 wins, even 6 wins would lock us in. But I mean, the start we've had, we want to be in the top two, and the way we're going, we're going to be in the top two. So that obviously gives us a second chance. If we were to finish first or second, we play in that qualifying final, and if we win that, we're straight through to the granny. Or sorry, I should say, what are they? The final, which is the
Yeah.
official word. And if we lose that, will we play the winner of the knockout final in the Challenger? So we get a second chance, or we advance straight to the final. So look, yeah, we're obviously aiming to finish in that 1 to 2 slots. I'm not sure who else will be joining us there if we are to make it. But yeah, we just got to keep taking it one game at a time, and I think that's what we've been doing. Every time the comment sections on my post, we're just riding the wave of success. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. All the fans, myself, you,
Mm.
everyone's just taking it one game at a time. You look at the captions on my post, I'm just like, come on, boys, let's just take it one more game at a time. Win this game, focus on the present, and just look forward to the future. So, in terms of staying consistent and just taking it game by game, um, our next game in 2 days, do you have any lineup changes that you think will need to be made? Because that's another thing that we generally talk about on previews. Our lineup's been going pretty smoothly. And obviously we've had a lot of flexibility. Would you change anything?
No, I don't think we should change anything because if we're doing what we're doing, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And it just shows if we're doing what we're doing, and like you said, we don't really need to change anything, and we really don't just really don't need to do anything. If we're gonna do what we're doing, just keep on doing it and don't fix anything that's not broken because it's clearly working.
Yeah.
I can just change the batting lineup around, maybe muck around with that and see like who's placing where.
Yeah, it's a tough one with the kind of Tom Rogers, Sam Harper situation. And what the list managers and coaches did last game to manage it was obviously put Tom Rogers in at number 4 and move the big three of Stoin, Maxi, and Hiltz just down one slot to 5, 6, and 7. And once again, depending on the circumstances of the game, we can alter that lineup if we need to, like we did against the Sydney Thunder. Maxwell coming in at 3. It's not what it had on the list, but yeah, just depends on the situation. So look, I'm kind of fine with what they're doing. I think the opening partnership is the main thing that you have to get right, and I think we have got it right. Joe Clark, we brought him in specifically to open the batting. Let's be real. I mean, we know he's capable of playing in the middle order, but I just don't see a world where we don't have him opening, and he's been performing reasonably well. He finally made his first big score of the season, which is huge for him. As I mentioned the other day, everyone goes for a duck at some stage. He's had his. Hopefully, it's his last. But look, 20, 23, and then 60. It's not bad scores. It's a lot better than what we saw last season. So just getting us off to a good start with a good run rate is all we're asking from Joey. And then Sam Harper's hit the form of his life. It seems like we're finally getting renegade Sam Harper over at the Stars. So I think that's the main opening partnership that we need to stick with. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, it just depends on the circumstances of the game if we need to change the batting order.
And what did you think of the commentators that were saying the run rate comes into play and like us like finishing games quickly? What did you think of that when they said about the run rate comes into play? Like,
Yeah, I think it's a good question and a good point by them because net run rate, which is percentage for all the AFL fans and non extreme Big Bash fans, it's basically, yeah, how quickly you're finishing games, at what over, at what speed, at what rate. So yeah, the run rate obviously plays a key factor, and if it comes down to two teams having the same amount of wins, it goes off whoever has the better net run rate. That's who's going to finish higher. So it's a key thing, and we have the best in the competition right now, I believe. It's gone down a little bit as the games have gone on, which is completely understandable. You're never going to have a positive 2.5 run rate, which is what we had at the start of the season. But I think we did last game against the Thunder. I think we did go for that net run rate. We brought Maxwell in, who is the key to finishing games quickly. So I think we were trying to get that good net run rate, and we did. Other games, maybe we were taking it a bit slow. I think the Strikers one, we lost a couple wickets. It wasn't panic stations, but there was nervous times for a minute, and I think the focus just shifted to trying to win the game, opposed to get that net run rate. So look, but then the Thunder game, we knew we were going to win 100%, so we were able to just go hard and take that net run rate, which is what Joe Clark and Glenn Maxwell did. So no, it's a key point that the commentators are making, and I think we handled it just fine.
and obviously when we lose a wicket, do you reckon we should put in Glenn Maxwell early to say if we were in the same position as we always have been to finish it off quickly? Would you want Maxwell as the first drop coming in, or would you want him a bit lower, just so just to finish off at the game quickly and have a great net run rate because it'll come into play as we've been saying.
It's a tough one, and I mean, it just depends on the game. But if we're saying, as you just said, the Thunder, the same game, same circumstances as the Thunder game, then yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. But I think our lineup we have multiple guys who can play that quick finisher role. Marcus Stoinis can come in and whack at Hilton Cartwright. Look, Tom Rogers probably more suitable to the opening position as opposed to the quick finisher. But, if you got a partner like Joe Clark who's having the game of his season and performing really well, hitting boundaries left, right, and center, and just absolutely taking the piss out of Reece Topley, then I'm open to sending anyone in, really, as long as we have a batter that's in good nick. Then that's all that matters. But yeah, look, I think if the situation is similar to what we just saw in the Hurricanes game, then I'm fine with sending Maxwell in. If there was a few extra runs on the total, let's say 160, I'd probably send Stoinis in or Callaway in just to kind of anchor it a bit more. And then if we lost another wicket, then that's when you pull the trigger on Maxwell or Cartwright.
Okay, and to finish off this preview, give me your prediction and how we're gonna have what the match is gonna look like as we're watching it. In your opinion, because I'll give mine as soon as you're done with yours.
Yeah, that's good. We haven't done much predictions. So,
Yeah.
look, I think we finally lose the toss. It's been a great start, but I think we go 4-1 in the toss. I think the Heat win and they send us into bat. I think we go 5 down for 208 runs. I think we cracked the 200. We know the Gabba's been good for batting. Recently, I think Clark backs up with another 50, and I think Stoinis goes for another 50 as well. And then everybody else just kind of contributes to get to that 200 mark. I think we just need to keep our run rate high, and then I think we bowl the Brisbane Heat out. We've done it the past 2 games against the Thunder and the Sixers, and I think we continue our very strong bowling attack continues to take wickets, and we bowl them all out for 100, 179. So they put up a good effort, as we know that it's a good pitch. They have good batters who are capable, but I think our bowling attack is just too strong. So I say we bowl them all out with a few overs to spare.
Yeah, that's a great prediction for me. I reckon we'll win the toss, but we'll decide to switch things around and bat because I reckon we'll probably do that, knowing us. I reckon we go. It'll be say 2 down for. Let's go 210, cracking the 200. I reckon we
Yeah.
get. I reckon we get 210. I reckon Joe Clark and Rogers contribute. Callaway contributes. Maxwell contributes. I reckon, and then the bowling attack just gets them good, and we get them all out for 160. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Hopefully those predictions come true. Those are some big scores that we've set the boys. And yeah, I mean, credit to what they've been able to do so far in the season. But we look to another game, this time at the Gabba. We have a decent record there. So thank you all for listening to another episode of the Mighty Melbourne Stars podcast. It's been great to jump on for a quick preview. I think we covered a lot of good bases here. And yeah, I mean, let's hope that we can start the new year, 2026, off with a win. We know 2025 was a great year for the Stars. We went 9 wins, 1 loss. You can't ask for much more than that. So why don't we continue our success and make it 5-0, top of the ladder? How does that sound, Heath?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. We go 5-0, and we 3 wins from locking in a spot. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that we win it all if we go 5-0. I know it's a bit early, but 5-0, best team in the comp. I'm calling it now. If we get there, we'll win the title. I'm saying that in our review.
Yeah, only a couple wins away now from locking in a final spot. But no matter what happens, we keep pushing. We keep that momentum going. Anyway, New Year's Eve, Big Bash is about to kick off. So hopefully everyone enjoys. Happy New Year to all Stars fans watching. We appreciate your support throughout the podcast of 2025. It was a huge year. Max Abbott, our biggest guest on for 2025, and a bunch of just other fun podcasts, previews, reviews, live streams, and we thank you all. And yeah, that wraps everything up. Thanks, Heath, for coming on again.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and go Stars.
Go Stars.
What you doing? You just wanna